I'm back with an update on my two types of Paul McCartney fans. Now, in my last video, I described two different types, one being the Classic Rock McCartney fan, and the other one being the Uber Macca fan. Now, I gave a brief overview of both, but here I'm going to show you a representation of precisely what two Uber Macca fans are, and this is them reacting to some of my talking points in my last video.
I don't listen to anything after 1981.
It's ignorant. It's just ignorant.
Doesn't make that much sense.
I described in that video my listening habits of the solo Beatles, and I said that I don't really listen to anything post 81 anymore. And maybe these guys took this the wrong way, thinking that I've never actually heard anything post 1981. Well, I'm old enough to have grown up through all that, so not only did I hear it, I've listened to almost all of it, and that's why I deemed I don't care for it that much. That's why I don't listen to anything after that time point much anymore.
Listen to it critically. We are very judgmental on Paul's music. If people think that we're not, you don't know a thing about us. Yes, do we love a lot of Paul's music? Sure, but there's a lot that we don't like, and we've been pretty vocal about it.
I don't understand why they can be vocal about not liking some Paul McCartney songs, but for some reason I can't.
Okay, whitewashing it with a statement that says, after 1981, I don't listen to Paul or George. Then you're ignorant, and you're not qualified to make that opinion.
So what opinions here am I exactly not qualified to have?
You can like whatever you like.
Correct.
That's fine. That is totally your right to listen to whatever you want to listen to. Don't criticize others for what they like.
Exactly.
Just because you don't like it.
Right. Yeah, you just can't tell people how to enjoy music or when to enjoy music or when to stop listening to a particular artist that you love. You know, we would never do that. You know,
Never.
Oh, those opinions. In other words, opinions I don't hold. In fact, I never said any of that. I did not criticize anyone for what they like. I did not tell people how to enjoy music. I didn't tell them when to stop listening to music. These are straw man arguments, ladies and gentlemen. These are used when people try to discredit somebody, but they can't discredit them on the facts or on what they actually said, so they misrepresent what they said. Now, why would they do this? Well, Andy Nichols is probably still torqued off at me for a video I did a year and a half ago on the Beatles song Now and Then.
Personally, and then the context of the Beatles themselves, when you hear in that 4 minutes and 8 seconds or whatever it is, listen, that's what it is. That's the legacy of the Beatles in a nutshell. And if you can't appreciate that, then you have no emotional, heart in you.
In that video, Andy was a little perturbed over some fans' dislike of the song Now and Then, and he went so far as to say that if you don't like this song, then you don't have an emotional heart in you. Now, this is the kind of, this is a shame tactic used to silence others in opposing opinions, and I object to this. I think there should be some more open dialogue without trying to make this into some kind of like moral high ground, which it isn't. Now, I know he's torqued off about that video that I did, because about a year later, he had this to say.
Mitch Axelrod, which that was one of my favorite episodes we've ever done, was the show when we did the show with Mitch on Now and Then, which that Pop Goes the 60s clown, tore us up because, I felt, I disagreed with his review. Well, whatever with him too. But yeah, that was one of the highlights of 2023 for sure. It was doing that show with Mitch, which did very well for us on the heels of Now and Then. Mitch is awesome because he's no nonsense, just like me.
The work I do on this channel is not the work of a clown. I know it, you guys know it, and even they know it. But these things come out because they react over emotionally. Now, in that original video, when I made a comment on the not having an emotional heart in you, Mitch Axelrod was also on that podcast, and he actually contacted me privately, and we discussed the matter and discussed what I had said, and had a nice little discussion, and it was kept private, and Mitch did it very respectfully, and I have a great deal of respect for him. He's been around a long time. He runs the Fab Four Free for All channel. He's got a Facebook page that he is in charge of, and on the Facebook page, he has to deal with a lot of problem commenters, and he always deals with them with an even hand. So you can deal it that way, or you can do the name calling thing. There's two different ways, and this is something that I've gotten from the Uber Macca Fan. And they're a little farther down the spectrum than, say, a Joe Mayo, who was very polite when he did a response video to me. So you can see this sliding scale on the spectrum here, and these guys just took it too far. Now, I'm not mad at these guys. This is not that big a deal. It's forgivable. I don't think they were trying to be dishonest and misrepresent what I said. I don't take them for that. And, you know, these things do happen. And if you are a McCartney fan, you're probably well aware of the Two Legs podcast. And it's a very good channel. These guys are actually very good. And Andy in particular, he can really deliver to the camera well. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that don't watch their channel or anything, but it does harm credibility when you resort to the ad hominem. And when you start doing that, you have lost sight and control and grasp of the topic, and you have forfeited the argument. So thank you for watching.
I will